Uganda adopted a multi-party dispensation after a rigorous process that led to, in fact, a court decision in the landmark case of Paul Kawanga Semogere that declared, the new political order of a multi-party dispensation. We have ever since then moved so many years down the road to having a Political Parties and Organizations Act, but also, the activities of political parties are guaranteed and protected by the law. The National Unity Platform, in its exercise of this particular mandate, went out to mobilize the country and preach their message, but were halted, prematurely by the Uganda police on grounds that they were not following particular regulations. We now seek to understand those regulations and whether indeed that, cancellation was lawful, whether it was a violation of, their political parties' rights. That is phase one. Phase two, we know that the censure motion of the commissioners of parliament is in gear 2, and MPs continue to tender in their signatures to censure the 4 commissioners who allegedly allocated themselves a service award to a tune of 1.7 billion Uganda shillings. And if you're to equate that to hospitals, there's about 12 hospitals at level 3, and that's the sub-county level. So, well, the censure motion goes on, and we seek also to understand and put a perspective to this. Viewers, I'm joined by a panel of distinguished young people to put this all into perspective, and in no particular order. From the National Resistance Movement, and that is the Youth League, is MAxzzon Muhwezi. He's also a political scientist, and he joins us here as a regular. MAxzzon, we are pleased to have you.
Thank you, Kidega and colleagues. To be honest, once again, I'm exceedingly happy to have the opportunity to be invited here.
Yeah. Thank you. Next to MAxzzon is the team leader of the newly launched or newly created youth movement, or the students movement, the New Bold Vision. Roy Rugumayo, it's a pleasure always.
Thank you so much once again, Comrade Kidega, for having me and these very distinguished colleagues on this panel to discuss such important topics, especially when Africa is celebrating its Liberation Week. We had 25th May as African Liberation Day, or Africa Day, as many people wish to call it. And here we are discussing very important matters of Africa's progress, with Uganda in particular.
Very interesting, yeah. Next to myself and the last panelist on the show is the head of institutions of the National Unity Platform Secretariat, and that is David Musiri. David, it's a pleasure.
Thank you, Kidega. Thank you for giving me this honest time to be here. This is my first day, my first time to be here. I've been watching you guys, and I've been your fan.
Sure. Thank you.
So, literally, as we are celebrating the African Day, it is quite puzzling. We have been having activities with my colleague here in the constituency, which I am going to represent much in the West. And surely there is organized crime that is happening. Organized crime, I mean, it can be trained, but people can seemingly purport it to other groups of people. So right now, there is an impasse in the constituency that young men are being cuddled, arrested, brutally arrested, and thrown into cells. But these are people that are innocent. Yeah, they are people that are innocent. But the real people that we know are, because videos are there, and they are not getting these people since yet these cameras are there, videos are there. But you find then this is now brought to young people. Therefore, I would just want, on this very program, I want to warn, it's just a caution to every young man there: you are not safe. You can be arrested anytime, so be conscious on whatever you do, wherever you are.
Okay, fair enough. Since you have the microphone already, let me just stick with you and give us the narrative of what is happening with the National Unity Platform, the tours, and how police came to stop them, on account that you are not following the regulations and the law?
Yeah, it is very, very unfortunate because here we have a demigod who seemingly wants to disguise everything that is happening in this country, that it started with him. Is the genesis, is the alpha and omega, and that is Genome 7. But forgetting that we got into the treasure of this country, and we went on 28th of July 2005, we went for a referendum, and which enhanced us to have this multi-party dispensation, and this is where we are. So what is very, very painful and which makes it absurd, is that taxpayers' money was wasted, yet this guy wanted to have a single-party system in this country, and he had whatever it takes, because one, he came into power as he regards himself as a rebel. Even himself is not fit to call himself a statesman, and it is quite baffling. And sometimes I look at him and I do not know whether he knows that there are people that out there that are following these stories. And as a Pan-Africanist, I would pray that he does better, so that he can be a real statesperson. And also, we would want to know that history,
are you saying
Uganda
that,
has an history.
So are you linking the actions of the police to the president? Because I thought the police, acts as an independent, tool of the state. I don't know how we move from the police to now talking about the head of state.
If Kidega and the rest of my panelists and those that are watching us, if they really listen to the words of the former IGP Okocho Ochola,
yes,
they know that he came out publicly and told the Ugandans that police was under siege. When he put the narratives, first of all, he was educating, sensitizing Ugandans how real police, the police that is supposed to be keeping law and order, should manifest itself or should call out operations. One, that if one wanted to arrest me or arrest my brother here, would come with an arrest warrant and introduce himself very, very well and say, hey, Honorable Musiri, this is Ochong, I have come to arrest you, and this is my arrest warrant, and the like. And you know what he said to Ugandans? He actually called them upon, he activated them, he inspired them that if one doesn't do that, please pick stones and stone them. So he actually protected the police. He's the only person that he has served as a genuine policeman. The rest of the guys they are rebels, as they have purported to be publicly. This is not my words, but they have come out severally and told that they are no longer police. But whatever they do.
Didn't November 2021 happen under the watch? No, 2020 happened under the watch of IGP Okoth Ochola?
He was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to compare that to what you just said, that he's the best, and
if you want to overthrow an institution, or if you want to break down an institution, just like it is the case in Uganda that we have non-functioning institutions and all systems are broken down, then you can get an assistant IGP to overthrow the real IGP. And I know that you know the case. So this is a guy who had already surrendered. You want to tell me that you didn't read his resignations? He had over 4 of them before he was actually permitted. So you never know, maybe he was also in safe house, because we did not see any publication from him, yet he was the head, yet he was the IGP. And I want to tell the viewers that for one to be an IGP...
Before I move to MAxzzon, my last question to you is, are you following the police? Do you think that the police is right to halt your countrywide tours?
It's not right, and there is no law that we are breaking. first of all, the Article 29, you know, it gives us
Freedom of association.
freedom of association, freedom of assembly, and even if they want to quote the Public Order Management Act, it was nullified.
Yeah.
So in which law are they standing? Proposers.
So
not, and we are registered party, you know. So for me, that's why I'm telling you that all systems are not working. Today we have rebels in police, some who work in the arm of Rwanda, and I will quote if you, if you give me time.
Let's just first stick to that particular aspect. MAxzzon, you know, when the NRM goes out to mobilize, I think the police, in fact, lays down a red carpet for them, you know, pass and go and do these things. But then you look at the way NUP has been treated in the past couple of months. Is the political ground leveled?
Very leveled. I am disappointed in my friend Musiri when he said that the Poma was washed. You see, Kidega and colleagues and whoever is watching, politics is the art and science of management of society. It is also struggle for power. That's a summary. This politics you see here has existed throughout human history 7 million years ago, when Homo sapiens morphed into human beings. I mean apes and eventually human beings. Politics, according to what is documented, Kidega and whoever is listening, comes formally in 500 BC with the establishment of Athenian democracy, the National Assembly, then the development of Roman Empire, then the Magna Carta, then Enlightenment, then to United Nations, slave trade, and the liberation of Africa. For Uganda, when this democracy was introduced in 1996, up to today, you and I and all of us, about 50 million Ugandans, have over-prioritized politics at the expense of development, fighting poverty, education, good roads, electricity, and all that. Comparatively, other countries surrounding us do not prioritize politics. Now, when you look at the topmost strategic bottlenecks that are scampering Uganda's development, talk of ideological disorientation, talk of poverty, talk of bad education, talk of health, talk of... Tell me, before we go to another dichotomy, tell me what the National Resistance Movement, sorry, the NUP, is intending to solve by moving from here with a procession, with a parade from Kampala up to Paris. Because for me, Kidega, for me, I don't want the young generation to be petty. Time for pettiness is done. And I don't intend to discuss pettiness. We are looking at a developing country with a lot of potential to develop. We are supposed to be discussing extraordinary heavy issues to develop the country. It is bad manners for me to be on this round table in this era to discuss someone has stopped me or has regulated me from having a procession from Kampala up to Paris. The Wananchi do not benefit from those processions, whether they are NRM or not. The Wananchi, the young people who are going to school this very week, have nothing to do with you starting a procession from Kampala up to Paris. We should be discussing as NUP, we should be discussing as NRM, we should be discussing as FTC, we should be discussing development. Now, if Museveni is having, for instance, a rally in Mbarara, I have not seen him start from Entebbe, parading border, young people, you know, cordoned in the military hardware, you know, everybody, starting from Kampala raising his hand up to Mbarara. And when police, because police,
so that's
the mandate of police, the mandate of police is to regulate.
That's how the NUP is moving.
Absolutely.
From Kampala.
Absolutely. Now, just a minute. Just a minute. Younger people are going to school. Tax drivers are doing their business. These are common people that have been affected by COVID deeply. People are trying to recover. Someone is doing 3 routes from Jinja to Kampala. 3. For you, you have nothing to do with that. And the best you can do to them is to parade a procession from Kampala up to Parisa. And when police tries to say, please, have your rally where you're going, drive where you're going, and you can have your rallies and do what you want. You speak what you want to say. No. You see, police is against us. There is no law that stops us. You know, the police is leaving Museveni. The police is... I have not seen messages start from Kampala saying, people follow me and we go. Ugandans want to make money. People in ambulances, they are on those roads going to school. They are going to hospitals. What exactly is wrong with the NUP? What are they solving? What does the procession from Kampala, okay, started from Mujinja up to Paris, how does it solve? I mean, these 10 issues affecting Uganda. Tell me, what is it solving?
Maybe there are good students of Kwame Nkrumah who say that seek first the political kingdom and everything else.
The political kingdom,
their interest to seek the political kingdom. Then with that, they'll address issues of healthcare, issues of education. To do that, they must seek power first.
You don't get power by disrupting business. When I say business, you don't. For instance, if Kidega
President Museveni is coming to power, was it
through a procession? Was it through a procession?
Was it a negotiated, smooth process?
You go. Let me tell you. If these people, NUP,
in Luwero, what are NUP,
it was not a procession. NUP was...
So businesses were working in Luwero.
It was not a procession. We can talk about Luwero.
No, because
we can talk about
the point is the implication of that process.
You see, let me tell you, for me, the honest I need, there is no law that stops NUP from rallying people. Okay? But there is a law that regulates those rallies. One, if I'm enjoying my right, I have no right whatsoever to infringe on your rights.
That's
okay? If Kidega, you're in an ambulance and you're going to Murago from Jinja, NUP has no mandate whatsoever to say, for you stop here, for us we first advance our political interests. I have never seen that in the world. Whether now you're looking for power to do what? To rule those roads? To rule Ugandans who are poor? What exactly are you doing? The young people, everyone is complaining. People are going to school, the children. They are reaching late. Why? Tear gas. Why? NUP, there are so many in the road. If Bobby Wine says he's so much loved by Ugandans, drive your car like any other Ugandan, you say tomorrow I'm in Paris at this very venue, and people will come and see you. Okay? Why isn't police disrupting Namugongo here? Why? There are so many people. Why? Why doesn't police go there to disrupt them? There are so many. Why? They are moving, they are humble people, they are Ugandans, they are going for pilgrimage. After they pray, they go back. They have not seen anyone saying, for us, we are here in the road. There is no car that is supposed to pass. Okay? And for us, we are going, no.
Okay, I have to hear from
in this era,
Roy
I cannot listen to anything.
Okay, fair enough. Roy Rugumayo, hearing the extreme ends, and you happen to just be in between. What do you make of this?
These are indeed extreme ends. Now, I think the whole conversation needs to be started from a point of what is the contestation all about. Is it a political contestation? Is it a fight for democracy? Are these political parties in the first place? What qualifies them to be political parties? Is the NUP in their engagements undoing the NRM? Why are they versing the state and not the party? Why is it not a political contestation between NUP and NRM? These political groupings. Now, I think it would be very isolationist of us to discuss the happenings of yesterday and the other day without putting in context what has been happening within our body politic. Because this is not the first time police has disrupted a political procession. Bobby Wine is not the first politician to be stopped from going to Kamuli or wherever. Vesije was, Paulo Kawanga Semwogerere was, Sebana Chizito was, even Katumba Oye was arrested, and his rallies disrupted, no matter how small they were. You remember, I didn't do anything. I just said Katumba Oye. So why was he having a whole procession in the middle of the road with 3,000 people following him? I think it goes back to our politics, that we have a state that is the government and that is the ruling party.
So there's a fusion between...
Not even a fusion. A fusion would mean, I don't know, a fusion would mean that the relationship is loose, but
in this case,
not even a merger, but an I don't know. Because when you are an opposition player, let's say, in Unyangavu or wherever, you are not versing the NRM candidate.
Why specifically Unyangavu?
No, I'm simply mentioning. I think if I had said why specifically Paris, you know, you are versing the RDC, you are versing the OCs, you're versing the DPC, you're versing the GISOs, and that is the ruling establishment. You're not, there is no necessarily NRM, and the president, who is the chairperson, has mentioned it several that it's not a political party, it's a revolutionary movement, and all that. It's with the words Musiri used, I don't want to repeat them. So I don't want to say that. So when you come up to contest for political power, you are seen as one who wants to be the chairperson of the NRA. You're seen as one who is seeking to sit on the high command of the NRA as the head of state, because there is a fusion of, to borrow your word, a fusion of all these structures. So that's why when NUP says they are going to Kamuli, of course they are going to verse the entire infrastructure of the police and the GISOs and the DISOs, wherever they are, not NRM. And there is a need, generally, regardless of where you fall, as we do the necessary work to build a country towards socio-economic transformation, the politics cannot be ignored and should not be ignored, because how shall we choose the people who are going to push us that forward? Is it going to be a monarchy? Somehow the politics ought to play. It might not be the most perfect, but of course the ballot is known.
Maybe his concern is on the timing. That
you see, just a minute.
Does the timing matter?
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
Just a minute. Just a minute.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Just a minute. Just a minute. That's why I told you, our generation really, if we are interested in this country, then we shouldn't be mentioning something like the timing should not matter. It means from January to January should be politicking. And we don't care about the wananchi. We don't care about whether politics is good or bad. We don't care whether police should regulate us, whether electoral commission should give us time. You politic, you rally people, they support you. You get 57 members of parliament, you become largest opposition in parliament or not. Such a panel should not be discussing that, ladies and gentlemen, we don't need anything to regulate us. As long as we can look for power, and that is all. You do what? Power is supposed to change the lives of the people and steer development. And development is not necessarily opposition or NRM. It is a multidimensional systemic growth of a society.
I think to that extent, no one has denied. Okay? But to the extent of the people's growth, of economic transformation, of roads, of hospitals, no one has said we do not need to have that conversation. But also, what I disagree with is the notion that that discussion of growth cannot be had alongside any other discussion.
No, we can't.
That for us, don't speak politics. Don't do politics. Now we are only doing.
No, we can. I mean, why? We can. Why? How did this government come into power?
Let me make my point.
Just give me a minute. Just a minute. Let me finish it. Just give me. I'm going to give you time. You can even take my time. But I'm saying, NUP, you and I, all of us went to Makerere. You cannot start campaigning, you cannot start calling people for rallies when it is not time for campaign. You get it?
Who was campaigning?
If you, these are political rallies. You get it? These are political rallies. And that's why we are saying, please, if it is a message of wealth creation, or if it is a message of politics like you want to put it, okay? Follow the law. Mind about business on the road. Okay? We have no problem with you. That's why they are saying, why isn't MAxzzon not arrested?
Okay, just some.
Okay, why isn't MAxzzon not arrested? It is because MAxzzon has not had a procession anywhere.
Thank you, MAxzzon. Just information.
You see, MAxzzon has capitalized so much on the word regulation. For us, we do not have any problem with the regulation, but the criteria. How do you wait? How do you regulate me if you cannot regulate the rest? If we are in the country and we are all Ugandans. For example, how do you even have guts to come and regulate me, a registered party, and you cannot even regulate PLU, a pressure group with a leader who is not actually supposed to be their leader because he's not political, he has not resigned, he's not supposed to be there. But they have gangs. I do not even know what my brother. You see, it is very hard for regime apologists to come and defend on such panels. Because
don't allow that.
Sure.
Because he's driving a different narrative.
He's
driving a different narrative.
I'll give you time.
Let me first, because I was supposed to be part of the team that went to the headquarters. And one of the questions they were asking of Naguru. But for me, I told them that is no longer police. Anyway, one of the questions they were questioning us that, please write to us how many people you have at a certain venue. How many people? This is craziness. It is crazy. You know. That's why sometimes I wonder whether people are being caucused to say whatever they say, because this is a brother that I know is very, very wise. He's one of the one that I see that he would be part of our Pan-Africanism, you know. Me and Ndugu, no, but now he's trying to
Are you trying to co-opt me?
Sure, if I can ask him. Yesterday, but one, the leader of PLU was at Odi Kampala. Do you know where they started their procession from? Actually, it went over being it is no longer even a procession, but it's a gang of thieves that stole people's gadgets. My brother, for him, he's talking about conflicting on other people's rights. He cannot raise any example that such and such is talking about ambulances taking people where there are no drugs, because that is what he's talking about. But he doesn't have any dead body or even a family of someone that was being led to either maybe to Chirudu and maybe died on the way because of our procession. Because he's lying to the country. You cannot come to this, because I'm telling you, I've been a fan of this. There are very many fans that are out there that are really now are crying, and we need to save them from lies. So I think my brother can take on, but
so just for clarity, just highlight for us the regulations that police is asking, like the conditions that you should write to them, indicating the people that you expect to have.
That was before
the venue that you expect to be at.
That was before, because they even asked us to tell them to draw a picture of how these people are supposed to be dressed. You know, that was before.
No, let me just
but now there is a letter that has just come out.
Yes.
Maybe we can go to the letter after this interaction between NUP headquarters, NUP secretariat and the police. Of course, now they are telling us that we should have a crime preventer who sits at the headquarters that can tell them that here, the way I am seeing this press conference, or where they are going to visit, there might be a crime. So they are detectors of the crime. The narrative, the liaison officer.
I think it is my time.
He's supposed to.
It is time. It's my time.
I think I've done a very good work for your bosses.
I will give you time.
Information for the police and the meeting.
Yeah.
It is right to the IGP. Just like all of us have been writing. Even when I was going to hold rallies in Makere, all of us, I wrote to police. I wrote to Wandegea police station. Myself, I'm NRM. You write to police. You write to territorial commanders. You get a permission from the owners of the venue. Okay? And then you communicate that, ladies and gentlemen, we intend to have a rally. This is the evidence. The people have allowed us. We have written to territorial commanders. They have assessed us, and we are going to have. You don't wake up in the morning. I don't wake up in the morning and say, police, tomorrow I'm going to Paris. This is the letter.
But I've seen letters of the NUP Secretary General to Uganda police, notifying them about all these activities.
No, there is no notification. You see, Kidega, let me tell you. When you ask for an appointment, you write to me. Do you come for a meeting?
You're saying that police has the discretion to grant that request or not to grant
No,
it?
but police has to regulate. So where you're going, is it actually impossible to have a rally? Are you having a procession? Because also the police says no processions on roads, on public roads, more especially highways.
But then he was saying, okay, how would you compare that with what? You said PLU was
No, that's what I was saying. Was it a political rally? This was football. This was football, just like you have Nambole, people going. Are you saying that people should not go to Nambole? General MK was saying informal sector tournament, just going to. Are you comparing that to a political rally? It is like going to Nambole.
Are you saying how Muhwezi defines a political rally? Because what makes a political rally political rally?
You're advancing political.
Because you can have soccer first, but soccer is part of the political rally, because sure, politicians, if the politicians address the rally, then it becomes a political rally. As simple as that. You do not need rocket science for you to define what a political rally is.
You and I, when you go to Namibia, for example,
because I should not be telling MAxzzon what the police wrote. I should be informing the viewers. The humble viewers.
We all have that data. We all have that data.
But for me, I want to talk about point 4 and point 5.
Talk about all of them.
In nutshell, no. because it is very interesting.
I hope it is the legitimate letter.
It
because
is,
you guys
it is.
always, you always deny your things. You don't sign them.
It is.
I want to bring in Rugumaya.
They say,
But Musiri,
number four says, the meeting urged NUP leadership to prevail over their members who wear military attires. Okay? And as if someone misbehaves, will only be held as an individual in the law.
So there is no vicarious liability. It is
now
individual liability.
this leads to the number 5. The number 5 says, regarding to the alleged confiscated NUP items by security, it was agreed that a follow-up will be made. What do you get from this? 2 statements, 2 points. One is masquerading that these are political, are military attires. But in the following point, they are saying, okay, the attires that we got, we shall have a follow-up and they can be given back to you.
No, that's not
the reality is, the reality is that these attires have never been military. Because I am telling you, this can also be a military attire. This one that he's putting on.
No.
You're sure?
That counter, because our attires, are they different from those of Katwe mechanics? They are all also red. I saw even these ones from Coca-Cola Depot are also red. And they are, actually what may be, the difference is only that maybe I get my barret, a cap, and a put on.
Maybe also maybe these I don't know, these ranks that you put here.
Which ranks?
Can that be?
Which ranks? No, the ranking are not for military. They are neither for police nor for army. Because if after someone writing they are stuck here, they put NUP. Now, what makes them to be military attires?
No.
It can be fashion in communism. In communism, and I understand. Now you want to say that now South Africa has two uniforms of army in South Africa. The one of EFF. Because the Julius Maremas are putting on that. And actually it is from inception, as Africans, as a tradition, they were fighting. Whether as communists or socialists, we're having their own way of dressing. That is what we do. We must dress in a particular... Now, I cannot be dressing like my brother here with a cap. Sometimes I have to dress in a different way because I'm also a fighter in that very narrative. I am also fighting, and I am very, very sorry for government because actually they are misled by people who have been putting on these very attires. In Tanzania.
Which government?
In Tanzania.
You guys belong to
General Museveni was putting on those very attires. Those very attires as a revolutionary. He had not even yet joined the army.
I saw also Andrew Mwenda, I think that...
Leave alone, the Andrew Mendas are putting on the real attires of military. But let me say, when you, for example, I have a guy called...
shouldn't police also rain on them? I mean, like the UPDF. Should they rain on the Andrew Mendas and the group?
That's what I was saying. While putting a criteria, while regulating, we look at the criteria.
So it is selective application.
It is selective.
Roy, I want to bring it in your time.
I think I'll have like an hour
it's now relieved now.
Your time.
I hope I'm not interrupted.
No, please.
No, you're not interrupted.
Okay, you were saying.
Please, yes. No, you are actually interrupted as you are making a point. Or points.
I don't think I even remember because of the disruption. Now, what I want us to agree on is that we all have a country to develop. And
actually, you are talking about the timing of the political events and all those things. Just to remind you.
If we had developed the country to a point where political organizing is on issues of workers' rights, because as caused by an industrial boom, that their rallying wouldn't be an issue. If these were farmers gathering to discuss their rights to better markets and state fertilizers and all that, I don't think there would be an issue. But after 40 years, there has not been any really fundamental change to have our politics also metamorphose into that kind of organizing. That is why when the Musiris meet in Parisa, they will only be saying Museveni should go and that we need drugs in hospitals, the things that are important but parochial. I do not agree with the notion of stopping people from gathering. Well, regulation is important, but it must not be selective, and it must not be very to the extent of shooting people. Some have even lost their lives in these gatherings, and it has nothing to do with whether they were on the road or not, because we have seen Dr. Besigye, a rally dispersed while at a playing ground, and people shot, people arrested. We've seen it was not even a procession. We have seen people arrested at the Electoral Commission while they have gone to simply submit their papers to run for a political office. Was that a procession? Was that unacceptable? Was that uncontrolled crowd? I don't think so. So our body politic must be more humane, must be more civilized, because President Museveni also speaks about it as if rudimentary way of doing things, where you cannot win over an argument basing on an ideological standing, so you choose to go rudimentary, arrest people, torture them, remove their nails, instead of meeting them and swaying them to your side ideologically. So, and all that comes through deliberately growing a democracy and a multi-party dispensation to lead us there. And I don't think, and hugely, it is a responsibility of the ruling party. It has, the ruling party has done that in Tanzania to grow the country's democracy towards that end. Now, people will come and contest.
There are processions now in Tanzania.
Yeah, they are.
Right now.
Yes.
People are
yes.
roads.
Yeah.
Actually,
There are.
actually,
Even in Rwanda.
let me inform you.
Chadema.
No,
Let me
I
inform
mean,
you.
now you know,
The last procession they had in Tanzania, the president,
Even
the fountain of honor, joined the opposition.
came
into
and
the
attended.
procession.
So,
yes.
I mean,
where have you been?
right now,
You are no longer doing
I know.
research, my brother.
No, I think my comrade here should stop whataboutism. That phenomena where you say, we are not going to allow this. Have you seen them in Rwanda? Have you seen processions in Rwanda? What about Tanzania? You know, our contexts are different, perhaps, and we should allow ourselves to grow differently. I don't think by NUP holding a rally in Masaka, it will stop the construction of any hospital. Or has it been the one that has stopped NRM from constructing roads for the last 40 years? Has it been because NUP was holding a rally in Kamuli that we don't have proper stadiums for the 2020
Actually, when we are trying
AFCON?
Actually, when we are trying to speed up because of the potholes, that's where actually civilians find us, Ugandans, and because overcrowd, they cause a congestion, and at the end of the day, you cannot drive anymore. You have to.
Hey, you're saying the procession is caused by not having a good road to move very fast.
The potholes, like for example, in areas of Mukono. I am telling you, because it's purposeful. We leave Kampala going to Parisa, but why you see crowds One, it is the potholes, but also too much love from Ugandans. If it was the case from 7, I am telling you, if those crowds can come on the road, actually can move from Kampala up to Rakitura in a procession. I am telling you.
Also, the other day, President Museveni had a good procession downtown where he was waving at the traders.
When was that?
During those days.
After buying them and parading them on the road. For him, he has to pay them, but for us,
no, I think that was even
organically.
Did they come on the...
No, they stood on the buildings and waved at him. Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone enjoys it.
So we are due for a short commercial break, and just don't move a muscle, because as you can see, it's quite interesting in here. See you shortly.
Digital rights are those human rights and legal rights that allow individuals to access, use, create and publish digital media, or to access and use computers, other electronic devices and telecommunication networks. Digital rights include a right to freedom of expression, information and communication through technology, a right to privacy and data protection, a right to credit for personal works, a right to universal and equal digital access, a right to identity, a right to anonymity, a right to be forgotten, and a right for protection of minors, among others. The state's digital rights are frequently violated through various unfair actions, for example, blockage of websites and social networks, theft of credentials, unauthorized use of people's data for personal gain, privacy intrusion, online censorship, arrests and intimidation of online users, internet blockages, and the proliferation of laws and regulations that undermine the potential of technology to drive social, economic, and political development worldwide. It is hence every citizen's responsibility to respect rights of other digital users and to speak out or report to the responsible parties when one's rights are violated.
We'll be back from that very short commercial break. Well, we shall just dive to the chase. MAxzzon, really, as we approach 2026, how do you anticipate the temperature brewing? Because as a country, we don't want to see ever again what happened on November 2020. That was very unfortunate, and it should never happen again. But with the way we are seeing the tensions building, is there a need for any worry?
Thank you. Uganda, I've been saying it. People can organize the camera very well, and I repeat it, for purposes of democracy. And the real meaning of democracy. Uganda is the most democratic country in the world. I can say it any day, any time. And I also don't care the response and debate. Now that we have that opportunity, we must and we should not disrupt it. Let the process flow. There are two dichotomies. One dichotomy of leaders is bent towards the interest, and another dichotomy of leaders pushing for this democracy is bent towards development of the country. And therefore, action of those two leaders underblades what exactly their interest is. If you know that the campaign starts 2025, 2026, and as NUP or as opposition, leader of opposition, your interest now is to do rallies and processions. 2024, Ugandans are watching. I don't have to get a stick and start beating every NUP supporter. Ugandans will beat them 2026. They know who is disrupting them. They know who is disorganizing them. They know the interest they are serving. And let me tell you, without violence, without defiance, then there is no NUP.
Sure.
I am speaking it because I'm a Ugandan. I am here in Kampala. Without violence, without defiance, there is no NUP. You must defy the state and its policy for you to get support. And therefore,
is it wrong for them to defy the state policy? Is there anything wrong with
legitimately?
If they don't agree with the state policy, don't they have a right to say first on this policy we disagree and we won't participate?
No, if if the policy is to say, do not do processions on the road, and for you you're saying I must, because I saw the leader of opposition in the parliament saying, for us we must advance. No one is allowed to stop our rallies. I am not police, I don't speak for police, but as far as I know, the law gives mandate and opportunity to police to regulate the conduct of rallies, the conduct of those processions, more so on the public roads. If it is what the NUP has chosen, Ugandans are watching and we wish them good luck. But I can tell you, the national resistance movement is steadfast and we shall not go astray. Our manifesto, the social contract, is that Ugandans, we are in charge of this country. The president took oath to protect Ugandans and their property and whatever they have and their lives. And therefore, he cannot surrender. It is very, very, very hard for him to surrender that mandate to NUP, to take over and overrun the people. Ugandans must develop politically, administratively, socially, economically. If they don't want, whoever wants to defy and whoever wants to do what they want, it is up to them.
Okay.
And the law will.
Can you answer Gumayo's question? He asked you and said that has this development in Uganda been deterred for the past 40 years by political processions? You see, that when you look at Luwawa and the issues happening around Luwawa Hospital, where is the link between that and the NUP processions? When you look at the price of education in this country, where is the link between that and the political processions? You look at the nature of our hospitals. Where is the link between those two? That was what Roy was asking.
Exactly.
Because you're emphasizing development, which is a good thing. Exactly. I agree with you. But where is the linkage between development and
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Your procession, what do those processions intend to solve? I want to hear discussions. For instance, if I see the Honorable saying in Parliament making a statement on behalf of opposition on Rubawa Hospital, for me, I am extremely contented. I am so much pretty sure that Musiri is contented. But do not tell me that a procession from Kampala disrupting business and the transportation of goods and services is answering the question of Rubawa. Not at all. It is not. I want you to do what you're supposed to do in the right time, at the right time, and at the right place. Isn't it? For me, it is okay. But as long as you want to enjoy your rights and you're infringing on my rights and the rights of Ugandans. By the way, let me tell you, just give you a fact. We have, there was, I saw a report, there was 3 buses coming from Jinja to Kampala that very day. The children were coming for school to study. They had to go back. They had to go back 3 days. The road is not safe. Towards Jinja, they are told NUP has disrupted the road. There's no transport. If you go, there's tear gas there. I mean, what exactly is that? Is it solving Rubawa? Is it solving education? By the way, okay, if all is said and done, like Comrade is here saying, you see, the political question must be, okay, fine, what is the logic in these processions? What exactly is the logic?
Roy, I hear you.
Okay, without NRM, NUP and all that, what is the logic?
I have to bring in Roy. Roy, you hold the thought and opinion that, timing should not be dictated by those in power. That as and when we politic cannot be a matter of state regulation. That because in fact politics goes to the core of our existence. That if the politics is not right, then why do we exist? Because the politics affects how I have access to healthcare, access to education, and things like that. So where is the middle ground? Because at the same time, we cannot afford to do politics from January to January. There needs to be time for us to actually focus on other things. So, to me, where is the middle ground? How do we balance the political interest vis-a-vis the need to have sort of how should I put it, an environment that is free from chaos and I don't know.
Maybe before he comes, something I forgot.
Yes,
no,
Roy.
I'm not going to disrupt him.
Yes, Roy.
I'm not going to disrupt him. Just
30 seconds.
NUP has been mobilizing and recruiting. It has got structures. 2021, it campaigned by law, and that's how it came up with all these leaders from the grassroots up to the national level. Why don't they wait for that time?
Fair enough. Roy.
Thank you so much. I was deliberately very silent so that with the hope that the same will be reciprocated. Now, I think it is very much dishonest for our colleagues in the NRM, where I belong, to say there should be time for politicking and there should be time for developing. When President Museveni took over power in 1986, he banned all politicking for 10 years. All political parties, all forms of political organizing from 1986 to 96, 86 to 96. If we are to measure the kind of development that happened then, perhaps we can say some good steps were taken. And then there was agreement for whatever reasons, be it IMF pushed or whatever, that we need to allow some political liberties. And we agreed on that and put it in writing as a contract in what we call the 1995 Constitution. And agreed that people have the liberty to organize, to mobilize, to meet. And in that constitution, we didn't say they will mobilize, but at this point. Or they will only meet when it is 1 year to the election. Or so we agreed, or the representatives of the people, after a rigorous exercise, agreed that these liberties will be enjoyed and non-negotiable. So where I find the dishonesty is that roads, major roads like Jinja Road, Kampala Road, major roads will be closed down for 3 days for a birthday party, for birthday processions that are happening. Okay? Where is a roundabout and how busy it is? There is Mulago Hospital, there is what, Chirudu, what, will be closed down every evening for 2 hours, as if no ambulances are passing there. Simply for one person to leave Nakasero and go to Entebbe, or leave Entebbe and come back to Nakasero every day almost. If you pass there at Mulago roundabout, at the National Referral Hospital, that place will be closed.
For 2 hours.
So now, it's dishonest for Comrade to cherry pick that there was a school bus that was coming from Jinja, that children had to go back because the place was closed. What about the ambulances that park at Mulago every day for 2 hours? So I think we all agree, and this should be a non-partisan agreement on progress, that to this extent we need hospitals, we need social amenities, economic amenities, and these are what will cause progress. But also you cannot speak about social, economic, political transformation when you are curtailing political organizing, because people are organized socially, and those social organizings are political in nature.
These are political organizings. How then do you say your intention is social transformation, and then you do not expect people, or you do not allow people to meet and organize? Initially, there was
You got it. You got it, colleague. You're answering.
there was Ebimeza. Remember?
Yes.
And are they there now?
No.
Those were social organizings for people to meet, discuss, and grow politically and socially. We had one at Makerere, a table of men at Micho. We shared the hall. With Godwin Toko chairing it at the entrance, where we used to have a newspaper, discuss a major story, and have heated debates. And sometimes it would go on up to 11 in the night. And guess what? One time we came back when the police was carrying away the table to the police station. So now, it leaves all the only avenue for discussion being the street.
The illiberal aspect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Musiri, just two questions from me is that MAxzzon defines NUP as a violent, defiant group.
Mizrata Brigade.
So are you...
But we know the master of violence.
Do you... does NUP intend to defy the police guidelines and continue with its processions?
First of all, we are not violent. I want to be very, very assertive on this. We are not violent. Even, I think colleagues here on this table know that sometimes some of us, there is a school of thought that we believe in so much. Like me personally, as an individual, I believe in violence. They know, and it is self-explanatory. But over now 5 years down the road, I have given my mind to this school of thought of non-violence. And I think His Excellency Robert Sentamu Kyagulanyi has done a lot. He deserves a credit. Even when you feel like at least one person should be given a punch, it's like, be disciplined. I like it, but it doesn't mean that we are going to be non-violent forever. Anyway, it is very unfortunate that as we are seated here, this cohort, we are discussing already things that are out of hand. Because I believe that Uganda is on a time bomb. It is about to burst any time, and no one is safe. Currently today, Kidega, we would be at least be discussing the transition if we put our country first. Because right now, as we speak today, the political terrain is very amorphous. Very, very amorphous. Everyone is doing there. It's like a supermarket. Everyone is picking whatever they have. As long as you have either the check, or you have the card, or you have the cash. That is what is happening in this country. Yet for people who love their country and put their country at heart, for example, first, those people who put their country first, for example, look at what is happening in Kenya. Look at what my brother was talking about that is happening in Tanzania. For people who have been there, much as for me, I don't agree in the school of thought of Julius Nyerere Kambarage of the community-based East African community, Western Africa and the like. I as a student of Nkwame Nkrumah, for me, I believe so much that Africa cannot be free if the entire Africa is not independent. If we would operate as Africa. But coming from there, I basically believe like young people today would be discussing transition. It is very important. There is a Muhwezi who thinks that he will not die, and is always very assertive that he's going maybe one day to die and fly and go away. And he doesn't even want to mind about what he will live on this planet Earth. And it should be very deliberate for all of us to discuss about it.
Isn't transition guided by the Constitution? The Constitution tells us how someone will come to power and how they will leave power. So what other transition do you mean?
Now, if...
Because
for example, the Constitution has been there. have we transcended from, in the last 38 days, years, have we gotten any other person apart from General Museveni? This constitution itself, actually it is a problem. It gives a lot of power. It gives the mandate to the fountain of honor that you can lead these people as long as you still will. Your will is, if someone has a good will, then
because as far as I know is that the constitution tells us how we shall transit from one leader to another. It says we shall go for an election and Ugandans will choose who they want to lead. Then that is transition in itself.
That's what I'm telling you. Do we still have elections as in the word elections? Do you want to call the last election is when Ugandans went to the polls in 2021? Were those elections? Was it campaigns as he's telling you that we should wait for now NUP contested and campaigned in 2021? Why don't we wait for that time? While we were starting this very show, you said that we would not want to see us back in the 2020 November. Actually, the other one was not even a campaign. It was not elections. We went for battlefield. My brother, I was shot at Luuka. I was shot by a rubber bullet. You can imagine the head of protocol on a presidential candidate. I was shot on the ground. That everyone knew that we were going to have our campaigns there. So no one should
officially gazetted by the EC.
Yes.
By the
officially gazetted by EC. Before even we reach there, on 3rd of November, if you saw my court was torn into two by SFC, by all sister agents, at the ground of nomination.
Sure.
At Chambogo. To the extent that the presidential candidate was arrested 3 times that very day. In addition to tear gas and what have you. That's what I'm telling you, that apart from a few people that hobnob with the tyrant, that want to tell you that the thing is still juice, we can still see light at the end of the tunnel. It is a myth. I am telling you, it is a myth. It is right time that Ugandans can come back, we go back to the drawing board and start thinking and strategizing for a new Uganda that we want, a free Uganda. Otherwise, we are on a time bomb. Whatever we are doing, we are trying to liberate Ugandans. And I want to thank Ugandans that have actually exhibited the too much love for the president. You know, I am telling you, Kidega, if General Museveni can only have quarter of the love that we have, I am telling you, he would be making processions from Kampala up to Gulu. Every day. He doesn't even think, he would not even think about whether he should rest. But anyway, would we even stand for 1 hour and raise his hand? I think even his hand is so heavier than him. So
okay. Well, that is, I think we need to shift gears and talk about the censure happening in Parliament. And in this, from wherever we are seated, we happen to be affected by whatever happens in that August House, because it's the House that appropriates our national resources. So, just politically speaking, MAxzzon, I'll just begin with you, is that the parliamentary commissioners, the 4 of them that are being censured, do you think it will succeed? And is the motive just?
Maybe just before that, we have concluded a very, very interesting topic. But I think Ugandans, especially the young people, I really don't care whether they are in NUP or NRP. The moment we stick to Museveni, Kyagulanyi, and all that, I think we are going to lose the future of this country. And we are in trouble. When I listen to what is discussed here, I realize we are in very, very big trouble. It is time Ugandans, especially young people, focused on the most fundamental issues. as the world superpowers are going to the space and want to control us from the space, it seems we are still discussing petty issues of someone has gone to Ginger or someone has been tear gassed and something. The generation must identify the mission, and that mission must be mobilized by the strategic bottlenecks affecting this country, Uganda. And then we advance to the integration of Africa. That is if we want to develop. If the interests are not there, if our interests as young people are not yet there, then it is okay, we can still discuss what we are discussing. Now, let's go back to the issue of Parliament. I am one of the people that follow very, very, very well that Parliament. Like you have said, what happens in the national cameras affects all of us. And what I have seen is that it affects actually the entire East African region. Because much as people say Uganda, I mean Kenya and all those countries are stronger than, it seems Uganda makes a regional decision. And therefore what comes from that national camera shock absorbs whatever is spread towards the entire region and specifically the country. I have said here time and again, that the cost of public expenditure is too much, and it is one of the things that the young people need to look into. So whoever, whether it is, when I was looking at appropriation, and I looked at how many and how much money is going to political parties. You know, NRM, FDC, NUP, government funding opposition, I mean political parties. The cost of administration, when you look at administrative units in the entire country and how much they are taking, it is too much. Now, do those commissioners serve the interests of the people? If they are, why do they take the money? If they are not, what is the money for?
Why are they there?
Why are they there? If they are serving the interests of the people, for me, by the way, today, I will stick to the point. Whether you bring which topic, I will stick to the point. Leaders must be transforming this country, and that should be the only conversation from January to January. How do we transform this country? If the leaders are about transforming this society called Uganda, these small issues we shouldn't be having them. I don't see any person waking up in the morning and you say, for me, I am taking 100 million, 500 million for myself. I don't see. For what?
But you see, the interesting part is that the NUP cracked a whip on their commissioner. The NRM has not taken any action against
unfortunately or fortunately, there is no law that says we must operate the way NRM or the way NUP operates.
No, but yes. I mean,
I'm just coming. I'm developing a point. I'm developing a point.
Because if you're saying that you care about the development,
the NRM chief whip,
this issue has been up for over 4 months.
The NRM chief whip communicated that it is a matter that they are discussing. Even the director of communications, the Honorable Dongo, says the matter, NRM does not just wake up in the morning and members start signing. It is going to be discussed in the caucus, and then they will take action. Unfortunately, I'm not a member of Parliament. I hope those commissioners are brought to book and may be recalled back. But as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not in support of that so-called service commission. It is part of something I don't understand. I don't see, I visited the Parliament of Tanzania in February this year. And I have colleagues in the Parliament of Kenya, even the National Assembly of Rwanda. And by comparative advantage, it is hard to find such issues there. And ladies and gentlemen,
so aren't you casting an indictment on yourselves? Because if you say that the issues that we find happening here don't happen elsewhere, isn't that perhaps an indictment on our system as a country, our governance? But I want to bring in Roy, because Roy has been quiet for a bit.
Roy, quiet.
Roy, the aspect of the censure motion of the parliamentary commissioners, is it a step in the right direction towards fighting corruption, or are we again focusing on something that doesn't solve the bigger and broad question of that we must deal with the structural corruption? Because Parliament, those 4 commissioners are only 4 out of I don't know how many corrupt public officers we have. So how do you perceive this censure motion?
Well, I would compare it to a boil on a skin that we are choosing perhaps to smear some jelly on. But we need to take the hard work of cutting the boil, pressing the pus out until so that it can heal. Even if we remove the 4 commissioners tomorrow, it doesn't address the structural corruption and tendency of primitive accumulation that has been the bedrock of the NRM establishment. And I think on this one I will have the support of my comrade Muhwezi, that the government has made it their, I think, policy. It's one of the NRM policies, I think, to support corruption. Because through time and again, we have seen major, this is 1.7 billion. We have seen major corruption scandals amounting to billions go unchecked. I mean, someone can steal money meant for AIDS patients who are dying.
You're talking about his dad.
No, I'm talking about a government official
Gavi funds.
who can take money meant for AIDS patients, and they are appointed in the next cabinet for whatever reason. Someone can misappropriate money meant for pensioners, people who have worked so hard all their lives.
That is Temangala.
Yes, and saving a little of their hard-toiled money all their lives, so that in their old age they can have something to fall back onto. And someone takes it, and they are the next prime minister. And the IGG can come up with a report of how many corruption scandals have happened. And the president will say, you go slow on these corrupt, these are investors. At least when they steal, they do not take it abroad. What message is the Fountain of Honor particularly sending to public officials? And no wonder there have been repeat incidents of all those people that have stolen from the public purse and not faced any consequences. It simply emboldens them to do more, and simply gives, when you hear someone is taking 400 million every day from Parliament and calling it community outreach, calling it all these sorts of names, why not then, why not for the commissioners to also take a penny for themselves? Because structurally, we have emboldened the corrupt and gone ahead to press and hard press the hard-working people. Okay, so we need to take ourselves more seriously. There's a comment I saw, I don't know whether David Cameron actually said it or not, that the amount of money stolen from Uganda every year, if it was stolen from the UK, the country wouldn't exist there, because there is so much primitive accumulation happening, and people will steal to construct big houses with basements and stack so much money in them. People steal. There is a medical condition called kleptomania, where you are simply a thief. You can be taken to the police station for a stealing case, and you will be released, and you steal a stamp from there, the OC's stamp. So you will steal the OC's cigarette. So we have kleptomania, that someone, I was talking to my friend Muhwezi, that someone collected money at some point to construct the NRM headquarters. You remember the 27 floors of the ruling party headquarters. That money was also stolen. Like, so much thieving. And then someone will come and look into the camera and say, don't do a procession. We want to discuss. Development. Of course we want to discuss development. But how do you justify that you can touch into the public coffers, pick money, give it to a 1p neti to construct Luvowa Hospital, and many years down the road, the only thing that is there is a slab.
Processions by corruption.
They might not, but they cause the people to see the corruption. Perhaps yeah, it's a mismatch. But then when you
actually, for me, what I'm saying,
we must simply be consistent.
The reason I'm silent is to hear
what I'm looking for.
Your alternative.
No, what I'm looking for is consistency. That if we are saying let us work on developing our country, what is stopping our country from developing is that the little money that is supposed to actually cause transformation is being hemorrhaged and being put in the hands of a few people. Can we stop that? Can we have the systems work? Why should we wait for 4 months down the road and wait for Sechkubo to bring a censure motion? What is the IGG's office? What is the Directorate of Public Prosecution? What is the Anti-Corruption Court? Why aren't there arrests? Yet. Okay? Yeah. What are we waiting for? Okay? Are we waiting for a letter of the head of state?
MAxzzon said they are going to have the party is going to have a caucus to...
In the meantime, where is the DPP? In the meantime, where is the CID? Okay, because that is going to be a political repercussion for what they did. But where is the legal repercussion? Where is the criminal liability for what they have done?
Fortunately, we expected a very, very good alternative. You know,
those are the alternatives I'm giving. Is that
no, not you, not from you.
Yeah.
I expected
in 1 minute.
Yes, I expected very good alternative because I'm giving a chance to Musiri to respond to it. We expected very good alternatives, very good and clean people from opposition who go to parliament and actually shine a fantastic idea.
What they did. And in their alternative, they said out of the four. This is my time. Remember,
you're answering what you have not heard.
My time.
I'm saying. When NUP reached in Parliament, they gave us Mpuga.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We expected NUP, as they say, they are very clean, they are coming to fight corruption, blah, blah, blah. 2.5 years, Mpuga is part of NUP, he's in corruption.
Yes.
So what should we do?
How about the Michana MP? Wasn't he? I think it was just out of the commission.
No, but also perhaps when NUP, it's still my time. When perhaps NUP gave Mpuga and he was confirmed as commissioner, when they heard what he had done, internally they censured him.
I hope NRM also that so.
4 months down the road. But also those are political repercussions, and I hope that's what should be. That's what it should be. In fact, he shouldn't have waited to be chased out. He should have resigned. But also,
All of us here agree that
yes,
corruption is bad.
it's bad.
Simple as that. There's no debate.
And what we need is to see more action and more motion from the institutions.
Not to see you and I must act as well.
From the
As a young
institutions,
generation.
from the institutions that are established, that are funded by the taxpayer, by the way, to do this thing, to do this job. Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Musiri, you have the last words on this topic.
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, the situation that we are trying to discuss in this studio, I would refer it to a very wise man, King Martin Luther Jr., who said that at the end of the day we shall not blame our enemies and the silence of our friends. So through that saying, I only appreciate the honorable members of Parliament, the Sechukubos, to have taken on this mantle, because we cannot say that because there is a lot of corruption, then we sit and do nothing. Me, I want to appreciate them that they have done something in their docket. It's what actually my brother here was alluding to, that everyone should do whatever they can do in their capacity.
Absolutely.
If the fountain of honor is failing somewhere, then for you in your
What are
capacity,
you doing?
in police, do something. In parliament, share them. So, going back to, because for me, I read the resolutions of that meeting. And for example, the service award that was given to the honorable, right honorable leader of opposition, Masaya Simpoga, it was an individual, on individual merit. It wasn't like other incentives, because we know that there are other incentives that are given to people like former speakers. We are seeing even today, they are still, but this was his alone. And mind you that at the time that this meeting happened, and this connivance, let me call it connivance because it is indeed one of them, that by then the commissioner was Honorable Zake Francis from Mitiana Municipality, who was already suspended by then. So because of this, and this leads me to what I want to explain to you, that I've always reasserted myself deliberately on failed systems and institutions. For example, there are 3 institutions that can, one, help the fountain of honor to have grip on power, and we know one of which would be the executive, which is him and his ministers, then the legislature, that is the members of parliament, and then the judiciary, where you fall now. Now, but all these institutions, somehow they have been compromised, because all of them, they have been compromised.
Kidega has also been compromised.
Institution.
The institution, it is not Kidega. Therefore, I want to applaud Kidega on what he can do in his capacity in that docket as an intern, because you don't need to be a judge
To make a difference.
going to contest
Yes,
things.
true.
So we want to elevate ourselves as a generation. If we are to do anything, then we must act now and use the capacity that has been given to us. For example, in the judiciary, you can do something. Because now, if you look at the narrative on how the affair, if you study well that scenario, on how they got to have this service award, because right now the Parliamentary Commission almost does everything. If you want to corrupt enemy in the parliament, it is them. And they don't have a regulator. So you can, I have friends who are members of parliament. You wake up one day, you have 20 million on your account. And you have no one to ask, apart from trying to follow. So
What was this
if
for?
at one time, if they can detect that now this Roy here has debts and there is something there, and we want to use him on the other thing, they use that as a pass, and by the time someone is individually compromised, because these institutions have been compromised, have been broken down, so the right honorable speaker can do whatever they want to do in that parliament. It can only call, it is a call to, because it is a call to a few, people that can be whistleblowers, for example, on this, so that Ugandans can wake up. Those of us that are still sober can wake up. I am very, very glad that my colleague now we are in the same troop. Keep loose corruption.
Well,
He has always believed.
Yeah, all of us here.
colleagues,
There's nobody
our time is fast spent, but it is the practice here that I give you just, and please be disciplined, only 60 seconds each to just give us your parting shots.
will take 70.
So I'll begin with MAxzzon. Just look to the camera, 60 seconds, give us your parting shots.
First of all, to the young people, this is your own country. This is the country you have. There's no any other country, there's no any other constituency, there's no any other sub-country. What you have is what you have. It is the right time we put the political parties aside. It is time we put the tribe aside and talk about social, economic, political, and administrative transformation of this country. I thank you so much, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you. Rugumaya.
Thank you so much. It is the responsibility of everyone, as we have agreed here, to make their meaningful contribution towards our countries and continent's progress. However, the ruling party or the ruling government has a higher responsibility to even shape how we think, how we do things in the long run, how corrupt or not corrupt we can be. It is simply a responsibility where ruling parties like the CCM have gone ahead to shape their people into that direction. We have seen better countries. And in conclusion, I urge our ruling NRM in this short time that is remaining as we are in power to do much, much more and much better for a better country that serves the interests of every of its citizens.
Fantastic. Yes, David.
Yeah, fellow combatants, I mean you Ugandans, it is now our time. And it is time now or never for us to fight and liberate this country. We would be now having a discussion of transition in our country because we must put our country first. Otherwise, we might end up like Zimbabwe, where there was only change of guards and systems remained broken and suffocated and crippled. Today, they are at the extreme of a Ugandan or someone in Zimbabwe who cannot bank in a bank, in a commercial bank in Zimbabwe, but they bank in South Africa. They can even have crisis of even lack of toilet papers that you can call, for example, Muhwezi. Muhwezi, where are you? I am in South Africa. Please come with toilet papers in your country. Let us not go to that extreme. Let us protect this country because this is our motherland and no one can teach us to be patriots because we are just automatically loving this country and this is our motherland. Let's be there for Uganda.
Wow, what a way to bring this show to an end. I want to thank you all. Comrade MAxzzon Muhwezi from the NRM Youth League, Comrade Roy Rugumaya from the New Bold Vision, and Comrade David Musiri from the National Unity Platform. To the viewers, it's always a pleasure having you every single Wednesday afternoon. Well, I'll put all this in the words of one great African man, and that is the late Reverend Desmond Tutu, that in whatever you do, just do right. Eventually, this right will overwhelm the world. Until next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.